My light. What's up, everybody? And hello. It is Wednesday, and it is the Three Wisemen podcast. You got me and Jared tonight. Um, it is in my neck of the woods. We are having some real crazy flooding issues, so um, just praying for everyone affected, because I know from like I know we were at the bridge checking out the flood tonight, and the parks were there measuring, and the Potomac River is up 33 feet, and it has rose, uh, and it's flowing at 100 or I think they said 77,000 gallons per second. That is insane.
Wow, that's a lot per
Yeah,
second.
Yeah, we got 5 inches of rain within like the last like 12 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was a lot of rain. So a lot of creeks, everything's flooded. Um, but yeah, the crazy thing is the river was up and the dude was still fishing. So I guess where he was fishing there, I guess you got the water waste plant or whatever. And he was up, kind of sitting up from the water waste plant, and then you got the bridge. So like it was almost like a pot, like you had the river flowing, but you almost had like ponding kind of forming. So he was actually not fishing in the current of the river. He was able to get off in like a area that wasn't current. So I was curious. I didn't stick around long enough to figure out if he caught anything, but I imagine he probably will.
Look, let me tell you, that boy is something serious, and he's the Bill Dance will be proud of him.
Right. That is committed to fishing right there when the
That is
water
rated
is
R
up
for redneck.
33 feet and we're still fishing. I was like, hey, you need a trophy or something for that right there.
Look, I hope he caught. I hope he caught one of them legendary 20-pound bass.
Or a big old muskie. That'll
Yeah.
that'll probably make his day. But the NBA playoffs are going on, and the Lakers got eliminated, and then
The
my
Pacers.
Warrior. Yeah, the pay. That's what I was gonna say. Shout out to my protest boys because they're Indiana boys, and the Pacers moved on, and the Knicks
eh,
moved on.
Okay,
That
see,
was
Thunder moved on last night.
no Thunder won. They won, so it'd be 2-2.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, they moved on to the next game.
Yep, but you have um the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics, and the Knicks were down 20 both nights, game one and two, and they came back and won it. And then
Wow.
prayers for Jason Tatum. Dude
Oh,
blew his Achilles out.
hey, Erica.
Hey, hey Erica, I hope you're having a good day. Um, and then the Warriors, Steph Curry got hurt. So the
Oh, what happened with Steph?
uh he strained a hamstring, but he's out like a week. And
Wow.
so just the wrong time to be Steph Curry and be out for a week. That's all I can
Hmm.
say. And so he's uh so they're down 3-1, and I think the Wolves are getting ready to polish them off tonight.
I'm gonna watch that because I love NBA and my Spurs ain't in it, and LeBron's not in it. I was hoping the Lakers. And what team did my current favorite player is Chris Paul. Chris Paul's my dude. He's the same age as me. He's 39 years old. He's been playing for a long time. Who does he play for now?
I want to say he went to the Spurs.
Because
I want to say he was teaming up with Wemby.
speaking of the Spurs, Greg Popovich just retired from the Spurs,
Yup.
and in my opinion, he's the greatest coach ever. The only thing I got against him is he is a completely left wing nut, and that's all I'm going to say about that. He don't like guns, he don't like this and that, but other than that, he's a fine basketball coach.
He's up there with. We will definitely pray for your cousin, and we
Sure
will
will.
pray for your sister Robin as well. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say Popovich is up there. I think. I think I'd put maybe. I think Steve. No, Steve Kerr doesn't have that many championships coaching. I don't think. Um, but I knew he has. I think Kerr has a good bit with a as a player and a coach from his time with the Spurs and stuff. But um, who Phil Jackson.
Oh, that's
Phil,
a good one. Phil Jackson, yes.
Phil Jackson might be the other one that could rival. I think the two arguments with Phil. I think Popovich might have coached better teams. But Phil Jackson coached like Kobe and Mike too. So like I I think it takes a skill to be able to coach um, people with the mentality of like a Mike or Kobe.
Yeah,
Or even like JJ Redick probably coaching LeBron. That's probably gotta be a really difficult job.
yeah. And
And Jokic too. The Joker or
oh yeah, the
Joker or
Joker,
whatever.
yes,
That
yeah.
dude is the smartest player I've ever seen play. But I, you know, um. So what kind of tunes you got tonight?
Let's see. Yeah, I got some really cool stuff. Let me send this message here, and I'll see if I can. I got some cool tunes. Let's see.
I had something cool happen last week. So
Oh, cool.
on Friday I made it into town to run some errands. And then that was before a mouse chewed my wire on my car, so it's been stuck at home. But anyways, so I was in town. And I decided to stop at Arby's to get something to eat, and I had the 7 cards. You know how
Uh huh.
seven? Do I have one here? I think I do. Um, these I have these cards, and so it's like it's if you going through the. I was like, hey, if you see this, um, turn off my sound effects. That way it comes across better. So there's this card, and it says free download, and it's the Moses Project or whatever. But on the back, I didn't realize it, but it says "Let my people go," and
Wow.
it says "Join the moment." So I was rolling through, and I was like, hey, dude, I got this CD, this music. My homie just dropped it. Like, check it out. You might like it. And then I was praying to God, like, I hope he downloads the music. But I thought it was cool because in the back it said "Let my people go," and like back in the day before I got shows going, um, Jeremy Holderfield from Seventh Day Slumber, he'd always be posting the tours. And when he posts the tours, I'd always be tagging the pastors and like, come on, man, my people aren't coming to church to listen to your boring music. We need some good, like Seventh Day Slumber or some good tunes like that. Like, you know, let my people go. And so I thought it was cool that I was handing a Christian rap uh, track like that. And it said, let my people go on the back. It just kind of took me back.
Wow.
Yep. So.
That is cool. So let's see. Yeah, that's really neat. Let's see. Let me find. Let's see. Where is? All right, I'm fixing to pull up a song here. Let me find one more thing real quick. Oh shoot, where'd that go? Uh,
Still looking?
okay, let's play this song here. Let me scroll down. Media assets. I'll send a message. All right, let's see. There's a song I played the other night. Let me find it. Take it back. Let's see. Matt's. Where'd it go? Let's see. Okay. So this is a Striper song. So this is a song Striper did. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's called "This I Pray." You ever heard this one?
I think I have. By the way, Michael Sweet, speaking of Striper, Michael Sweet made a post today and it said, I don't always listen to Striper, but when I do, my neighbors do too.
That's funny. So, for those that don't know this song, you can look it up on YouTube, and better off go buy it. But it's a prayer request, and what the song is about praying. So this is a song called "This I Pray," track number 8.
If I died before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. Have mercy on the shape I'm in. And if I've fallen from your grace, help me, Lord, to find my place. I'm in a storm with no way out. The water's rough, I'm tossed about. I know that there's blue skies above. It's in your mercy and your love. I swear I won't go down without a fight. The darkest night will always lead to light. soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Man, what you think of that song?
Oh yeah, I love the. I was feeling the guitar.
Oh, that guitar is fine on that one.
Mm-hmm. I was feeling it.
So that was either Oz Fox or Michael Sweet playing the guitar because they both play. Either way, that was phenomenal guitar playing. And then, of course, you got Perry Richardson, the bass player. Pretty awesome. And those guys are awesome. I encourage everybody, if anybody's watching, y'all need to go see Striper in concert. They were on their 40th anniversary tour, which I'm sad I didn't get to go. And I'm sad that every show they had was nowhere near the South. So all their shows were up north and over yonder, over there, but not the South. But that's okay. I'll see them for the 41st anniversary or maybe the next show.
Did you see Seventh Day Slumber dropped a new song? I think
Look,
they got a new album dropping this Friday.
yes, the song has Paul McCoy, the lead singer of 12 Stones. And 12 Stones is my all time favorite, uh, or one of my all time favorites. Now, 12 Stones, from my understanding, what I used to do research, because I've been listening to 12 Stones for a long, long time. Like my brother Blake made me a burn CD of 12 Stones years ago. Home Away from Home. What up, Quake Radio? Is Jason in the building? The best
What's
Christian
up,
radio station
Jason?
on the market. By the way, we play the music K-Love don't play. Um, so, anyways, 12 Stones, from my understanding, was when I used to research it years and years ago, that they got the name 12 Stones from the verses in the Bible, and where it talks about the 12 stones in there. And so I looked up the Bible verse. I don't remember what it is. I have to look it up, but it was really good. But then I seen an interview from Paul McCoy a few years ago, and I'm a huge fan of his. Like I met him. I met him and Eric Weaver, the guitarist, and I nerded out meeting Paul McCoy. It's like, dude, this guy's legendary. This guy's like been doing music 20 something years, however long. And if it wasn't for Creed, there would be no Scott Stapp and Creed is the reason why there is a 12 Stones. They found them. And so, and Paul did a interview where he was interviewed several years ago. And I watched the interview, and he said that they was never a Christian band, just the record label they were signed to. It was either Wind Up or I can't remember what record label it was, but anyways, the record label they were signed to convinced them that that would do good for them to put them as a Christian band, but they never were. And I was floored when he said that. But I'm still a huge fan, and I don't know 100% what Paul's faith is, but I do know he's a super good guy and good music. You ever listen to them?
I have. I love the. Uh, I think The Way You Lie, is that the
Yep,
one? Yep.
yep. The way I feel, and they got Anthem for the Underdog.
Hmm.
So I'm a big wrestling fan, and I remember I've been watching WWE since 2004, and they had a tag team with Wade Barrett. But sadly, Wade Barrett's on the injured list, so he's forced to be an announcer. But Wade Barrett was on a tag team called the Nexus, and uh, so the Nexus had a theme song, and their theme song was the 12 Stones song called "We Are One," which it was a WWE edition, which means it was a harder song, more electric guitars, phenomenal. My favorite song that I listened to, and it was a patriotic song because they're big on the troops, and there was a patriotic song, and I thought that was pretty cool that they did a song for WWE wrestling, and it lasted. The song lasted 2 or 3 years until the Nexus disbanded, and then that was the end of that. But that was cool though.
Yeah, I think The one that probably broke everyone's heart was Under Oath when they switched, and I've just kind of taken like at one time they had a legit relationship with God, and at some point that got damaged. So I'm just I'm praying for the day that Under Oath is kind of reconciled and back making Christian music again. You
Well,
know?
that reminds me of. While I look up this next song to play, that reminds me of Jars of Clay. Been a Jars of Clay fan my whole life. Their song "Flood" was the best song that the early '90s. You ever heard that song by them?
Yep, I love
If
that song.
if I can't swim
It's
after
been for
40
40
days,
days.
and my mind, man, I love that song. So it was 4 or 5 years ago. The lead singer of Jars of Clay went on, I think it was Twitter, and he made this post about supporting the LGBTQ or something. And then he made another post after that, tried to backtrack, and he was like, "No, no, no, no." He said, "Twitter only lets you type so much." And I didn't get to finish explaining myself because I had to make two posts about it. And in which he's not lying. Twitter, you can only
Right.
type so much for a status.
Yeah,
But
you only get certain character numbers.
yes, but let's be honest. He was just trying to backpedal and trying to save face, and it didn't work. They lost a lot of fans, and I've been listening to them. I hadn't heard them in a while because they were my favorite, and hadn't heard them in a while. And when he said that, then another group that comes to mind. I was at Praise in the Park several years ago in Bluesdale, Mississippi, and they used to do Praise in the Park every year. And they have like a little festival. Then they would have on the tennis court there. They would have bands, big like Newsboys headlined, Building 429. So I remember when Hawk Nelson got to play. I was like, dude, man, I've been listening to Hawk Nelson CDs from church, man. Them guys are awesome. I'm a big, like, I love Hawk Nelson, man. And I wasn't like a super huge fan, but I love their music. And I said, man, I'm excited to see Hawk Nelson perform. Well, I was right by the stage because that's where I like to be, is right by the stage. And I was right by the stage. Well, when Hawk Nelson went to play, I could not understand a single word of any of the songs they sang. And the reason why was the big gigantic speaker beside me was messed up. And they spent near about the whole entire concert trying to fix that speaker. And by the time Hawk Nelson got finished, they got the speaker fixed. And they was apologizing for the sound. I was like, darn, I could not understand. And I love them. And it was great. Good show. I just couldn't understand. Well, then a year or two later, I can't remember the lead singer's name, but he came out and said that he never believed in God. And I was like, I was floored. I said, here he is, a lead singer of a Christian band, saying that he don't believe in God. Well, then I found out a little bit later that the rest of the band didn't feel that way, but he did. And everybody, all the people in the Christian community stood up. It's like, man, we lost respect for you, bro. And and hopefully a lot of people prayed for him. And
Right.
another one that comes to mind is Aaron Sprinkle. And he has a song called River of Love, I think was the name of it, or River of Life, one of the two. And Revocation Radio plays his music all the time. I love his music. Phenomenal singer. Well, then one day, about 3 years ago or so, he went on his personal Facebook and he said that he doesn't believe in God and he's not a Christian, and had this whole big spiel. And then his political views are different than what mine is, which is fine. Everybody's going to be different. But I was just floored. I said, man, here's a guy that's been playing on a Christian radio station I've been listening to for several years, and he's promoted as a Christian artist. His music is great, good messages. Then all of a sudden one day he just says, nope, I don't believe in God no more, and he'll tell you straight up. And he's made many, many posts about it. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, what gets these artists to that point to where they just say, nope, I don't believe in God and whatever. What do you think about all
You know what it is? Yeah, me and my wife had this week, um my wife's car had the caliper get stuck in her car, and then like her car went in the shop, and when it went in the shop, it was a 3 grand bill. And then Friday,
that?
uh, I took my car into town, or the one that hauls us all in it, and then I go to pick up the kids from the bus stop because it's a little chilly. And the car won't start at all because a mouse chewed the wire to the
Ooh.
wire. Yeah, so now I gotta find where the mouse chewed the wire. And like my wife is in the car, and beforehand, like we thought maybe I had a dead battery. So I went and bought a new battery, replaced the battery. Can't get no power. And so, you know, in a married relationship as a man, we just want to fix things and be done with it and not deal with this crap. And my wife, she just wants the car fixed, you know? And there's a point this weekend where my wife was like, "Why me?" You know? And then I think that that's the problem is like we take our eyes off God and we start looking at our problems, and it's like, why me, God? Why'd you pick me? And it's like, when Job went through everything he went through, like God picked him for a reason, and he is like, hey, you're going through this storm because I see you praising me. And other people, like, you know, you're about to go through another storm, and I need other people to see you praise me again because it's about him, it's not about us. And I think that that's the hard part is while the storm's hitting us, it's hard to remember that it's not about us in the first place, you know? And so I think that uh, is kind of the issue is like something happens in their life. They're getting thrown in the fire, and maybe like, you know, they weren't ready for it. And it's, unfortunately in a Christian rock world, they
Hey,
get,
Mike.
what's up, Mike? How you doing? It's good
Good
to
to
see.
have Mike. Good to see White Wiseman in here.
Yep. So I think they just get put on a pedestal, and then they're struggling, and then it's hard to struggle when you're put on a pedestal too. Ric Flair.
Yeah, he's a big Ric Flair fan. Woo! And you're right because so I'm so glad that Mike's in here. So Mike, I don't think he'll mind me sharing this. He just got in a huge wreck the other day. He's the flag man at the racetrack I work at. He got in a huge wreck, and it wasn't his fault. Somebody hit him, destroyed his truck. I mean, a nice F-150, like
Mm,
a 2010 red F-150, beautiful truck. Destroyed it. He's been going through a hard time trying to get him a car and get a way to go. And I'm thankful that his job provided him. He's a truck driver. His job provided him a way to get back and forth. And then praise report, Mike was able to, blessed by God, to get him a vehicle. So he got him a nice 2018 Silverado. So shout out to Mike. Whoop whoop. And he'll be able to drive to the racetrack this weekend.
praise
But
God.
like, and if you want to come live with us, Mike, I'll send you the link. You can come live with us. But it's just a testament of, Mike could have panicked. He could have gave up. He could have said, "Hey, this ain't going nowhere." Well, he had faith apparently, because it sounds like Mike trusted in God, and I prayed for Mike, and I hope we got a bunch of other people to pray too. And prayers were answered, and Mike got him a vehicle. And so shout out to Mike. And then I was having a bad day yesterday. Actually, I was having a good day until my piece of junk Nissan Frontier, or as I call it, a rice rocket. Um, my rice rocket has been getting worked on, and it's just one thing after the other. The truck's 27 years old. I can't find parts for it. It's just like one thing after the other, having to replace and repair it. And I won't sell it because it's my very first truck I ever had when I was 16, and I use it to go to work in. And so, shout out to Craig's Automotive in Thomasville. Craig's Automotive has been getting me right, and they get me fixed. So, shout out to Craig Gavin. He's a pastor, which is really awesome. And so, they've been getting my truck fixed and get me in the right direction. And so, shout out if anybody needs any good mechanic work, go see Craig's Automotive in Thomasville, 20 minutes from Grove Hill. Anyways, and I ain't gonna lie, I got super frustrated and aggravated and kind of mad about some things with the truck, and probably shouldn't have. And but I'm thankful that God put me through that, and now my truck's getting in the right direction, and then now we're having this discussion here about how God can pull you through the storm. So I'm gonna send you that link, Mike. If you want to come in the box with us, well, you can come in the box with us. And anyways, people need to see people need to see you go through a storm and how you handle it. And today was a really bad day for me. Like, it was a decent day at work. It was pretty good. But then I found out a really good friend of mine named Taylor Wiggins passed away. And I hadn't spoke to Taylor in a while, in a few months, but every time I would see him, I always spoke to him. We've hung out a lot over the years. I always like to comment on his Facebook post and keep in touch with him. And he passed away today at his job, and it's a long story. I'm not going to go into details, but it was a super horrible thing. Um, it was super, super depressing and super sad to hear about it. I ain't gonna lie, it really, really bothered me, and it still bothers me. But I just hope and pray that my buddy knew Jesus. And but through all this, you have to find a positive outlook, because you'd be surprised, people watch you. People watch what you say. People watch what you do. Let's see. Let me send you this link, Mike. To click this link to come live. And oh, that's okay, Tony. That's all right, buddy. It's okay. But yeah, there's Tony Viggins in the building with Music Crush Monday.
What's
Shout out to
up?
my shout out to my awesome friend Tony. But people, like, people watch you. Like, I have people watch my Facebook all the time, and people see my post. Like, I'm a positive person. Call me Captain P for positive. But I always try to put something positive, something good, and people will tell me, people will tell me, they're like, "Hey, I saw what you posted on Facebook the other day. I like that." I'm like, "Really? You saw that?" Just because not everybody clicks like on your post or everybody comments does not mean people don't see it. And so, and people look at your stuff, and then, like, for instance, I was talking to my awesome buddy Zach today. I hope Zach's watching, but shout out to Zach Sanders. But me and Zach were talking. We was talking about the tragic accident today, and Zach says, Zach says, Jared, he says, out of all the people that I know that I'm friends with, out of all of them, he said, I don't know anybody that talks about Jesus as much as you do, that shares Jesus as people as much as you do. I was floored. I've never had anybody tell me that. Like it I ain't gonna lie, I was already upset about my friend dying, and that's his friend too. And then that made me even more upset. I was like, wow, that is touching that he told me that. And so just I know it's a long story, but you gotta people people notice how you react in day to day life. People notice the things you say, the things you do. Just because you think nobody notices, oh, they notice. So it's always good to have to see people see Jesus in you. In other words,
Yo, I think it's hard to remember. It's not about us. That's what that's the main thing. So it's not about me. So,
that's right.
I think that that's too is like when I started my ministry and I started this struggle, like I didn't handle things right, and then they're like, "Oh, look at him. He's a believer and he's not handling it right." And it's like, at the same time, we gotta remember that the whole point why I'm a believer is because I fall short and I need Jesus's blood, and that's not to make an excuse for the bad behavior because he corrects it. It's just to say, like, I think that, you know, um, my pastor sent me this video this morning, and there's this lady, she was talking about leaving the church because when she walks in, people are on their phones or people are doing this or that. And the pastor said, well, here, take this glass of water and go walk around the church 2 times and make sure you didn't spill it and come back. And so she came back and the water didn't get spilled or nothing. He goes, well, what happened? She goes, I focused on me, and that was the thing is like when we're focused on me, we can walk around the whole church and not spill the water. And I think that kind of the I think that's kind of the hard part is like I think that there's a spiritual battle and when our friends are going through things and they're struggling like maybe like a Christian shouldn't, like we got to pray for them.
There you go. I like
You
that.
know, even for instance about a year ago we were going through some financial problems and I had cussed out God, and my wife was upset that I had cussed out God and all that stuff because it wasn't what she should have heard from a husband that honors God, and I understand that. But like the other day, she was in the bathroom and she was looking in the mirror before going to work, and she was making comments because she didn't like how she looked in the mirror, and I thought it was fun. I had I was in my prayer closet and God said, "Hey, like you can't let your wife slide on that. Like she didn't let you slide." And so as a team, me and her are one. And so I got to lift her up just as much as she lifted me up. So I went and I pulled her aside and I said, I understand that, because in Genesis, I think it's Genesis 126 where God talks about us being made in the image of God. And I find it funny that um like the mirror is the first thing that a woman will go to and say that they don't feel pretty or they don't feel beautiful or they feel fat. And it's like, well, who told you this thing? Because you were made in the image of Almighty God. And so the thing is like, look, if I would have heard my daughters saying anything like that, I would correct them in the same way that I got to correct you. And it's not that I want to correct her because she's wrong and I got to be right, but It's like I need her to see her how Jesus sees her, you know? And like I think that that's kind of that's the hard part is because like these guys like for instance like you know Under Oath doesn't even want to be associated with Christians no more. F them, and it's like, what if we prayed for those guys and we saw them for who they were in Christ so that they eventually saw it? Because, at some point they were, because, like, if you listen to Under Oath's, like, first album ever, the end of the album is like a pure like believer just calling other people to Jesus. And so I don't think that heart really got lost. I just think it got damaged along the way, and we just got to pray for God to restore it.
That's a very good point. I hadn't thought about that, and I've never really listened to their music. Are they like Seventh Day Slumber?
They're a lot harder. And actually, so, um, believe it or not, like, I only listen like my journey in the Christian music. Like, um, as a kid, I like Young Jeezy and Ti and Eminem and Saliva and Corn. Like, I didn't really like the most Christian bands that I knew were like DC Talk and Toby Mac. So up until I really started to dig and I found like Z Jam and stuff, then I started finding like I had a youth leader that gave me Skillet.
Very
Um,
cool.
yeah, I think it was Invincible was their CD with the "You're the best kept secret of our generation." That song.
Okay, so Mike just sent a request.
Cool.
All right, so Mike, you make sure your camera's on. Um, for some reason, it's not giving me the option to bring him in the studio, but he is in there. I see him.
Hmm.
Yeah, see if you can click where it says camera, Mike. See if it'll bring your camera up. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, so it was that. So I had that, and then I had a roommate, and he was listening to the Worship X CD by I think it was Tooth and Nail that put it out, but it was like a harder metal. And so the way that it started, because I always gave him a hard time. He was like this emo kid from Canada, um, and he like metal, like all the screamo, and I just like when I heard screaming, I just turned it off. It just wasn't no point. It wasn't no point to listen to at that point. So there's a song called "The Showdown" by the Showdown, and it's like really soft and mellow, and then like in the middle part, it's like I long to see your face, and he's screaming and stuff. And like that was my introduction to like the metal because like um I guess I could handle like the dab rock bands at the time. Like the hardest I got was like Corn falling away from me and stuff. I didn't really do the Slipknot and stuff yet.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and so then um we went on a missions trip to Northern Ireland, and when we got back, I was like, dude, I kind of want to go to a Christian metal show. And so my first Christian metal show ever was Norma Jean, Under Oath, Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. Which they're like Maylene and the Sons of Disaster is like southern rock metal screamo. It's amazing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And then Under Oath. And so I would start to listen to them, but at the end of Under Oath's first CD, because when I was in Nashville, I just one of our basically all of our interns, we all went through the Christian bookstore and we bought every CD. So what I bought, they didn't buy. So we were trading CDs and ripping them on our computer. So I had I had a library of Christian music like nothing, just because of the other interns. And that's where I listened to like their last track, and it's like it's just their hearts and why they do music and stuff. And I was like, man, how did they go from that to that? And it was like, well, and just in the past couple months, like, you know, I think God kind of brings you into, like, God brought me into a place of community. And then I started trusting these people to hold me accountable for certain things. And then that accountability went from like somehow the knife that they drove, like I didn't want that accountability ever again. And so I can understand how you can take a wound from the church and just never want anything to do with Christians ever again. And honestly, it takes an like, you know, as much as it takes a Christian to ruin it for everybody, it takes another Christian to kind of bandage up them wounds.
So here's something to think about. Hey, Mike. Um, it's still showing Mike's got a request there to come live as a guest, but it's not giving me the option to bring him in the studio. That's crazy.
Did he download the StreamYard app? Like, you gotta use the StreamYard app and then copy and paste the link. That might work better. Because he may
Yeah,
be requesting on Facebook Live itself.
yeah. Because I sent him the link and he clicked it, and I told him to copy and paste it to his web browser, and that
Yeah.
normally works. But and you may have to look up the StreamYard link, the app. I think they have a StreamYard app if you know
Because
how to
I
do that.
use the StreamYard app and then I just copy and paste it that way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, Something to think about. So people get church hurt is the word that I've always heard. They want to blame God, but in
Right.
fact, it was not God. It was
Nope.
people. It
Right.
was man that did it. But every single time, there's never been a case that I know of that it wasn't somebody said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't." No, it was the people that did it. But people want to. The devil puts that in their ear. Hey, blame God. He did it. I mean, it wasn't God there, homie. Sorry.
No, no, it wasn't God at all. And again, like I think that's where the enemy plays with it, and it's like, I think that, but also like Matthew 18, like Scripture is wrote out so that like the Christian family can almost be dysfunctional at times and still be functional. Because if you do what it says, like God's grace is always gonna win in the end. And that, and I like I've kind of learned that even though like they may have hurt, but it's like sometimes like even though you look at those people like they're representing God, like they're not God. And like God has to make sure that you know that he's the one doing everything and making everything work, you know? And when you learn that the peace and everything comes, but it's not a fun learning process sometimes.
No. And um, people, this is what I need to tell people. People are flawed. They're going, okay, Mike. So Mike says he can't get it to,
It's all good.
I, yeah, if you can't get it to work, Mike, that's strange. It would show you in the thing there, but it wouldn't show in your video. Maybe you can turn your video camera on and try it one more time to copy and paste the link. But if it don't work, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, but people need to realize that that we're flawed, we're human, we're gonna make mistakes. God don't make mistakes. He's
Right.
never made a mistake. Jesus never made a mistake. Jesus was perfect. So they need to quit looking at us and saying, "Oh, well, God hurt me. Church hurt. I'm not going back." No, you need to realize that we're imperfect people in an imperfect world. We're gonna make mistakes. You need to quit looking at us as Jesus and God because we're gonna make mistakes. I'm sure there's people that look at me daily, especially at work. Sometimes people are like, "What is he? Is he really?" Hey, look, homie. I ain't perfect. I ain't saying I'm Jesus. I ain't saying I'm God. I'm just a plain old redneck telling people about Jesus.
Yeah. I thought, so my wife showed me this video online. There's this farmer, and he was raising goats. And so, what it was is he was raising two goats, and he had, uh, his mama had twins. And so, as she had twins, the one of the babies got separated from the mom. And so when he went to go check on it, he had to help the baby get back to the mom. Well, the baby kept running back to mom, and the mom didn't want nothing to do with it and wasn't going to nurture it. And so, guess who it left to nurture it? The shepherd.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's going to happen? Because the shepherd nurses that lamb and bottle feeds it all the time and everything else. By the
Very
time that
cool.
that lamb grows up to be an adult goat or whatever, every time the shepherd goes out in the field, that lamb is running right to it
Wow.
because the shepherds took care of all of its needs and everything like that. And you know, so many times I know in my life, like there's people that you may look that way they were gonna do things, but like God knew He needed to meet your needs, so that when we would run to Him out in the situations like that. I thought that video was really powerful. So
Wow.
yeah,
I hate it's not. Can you see Mike in the box there?
I can't, not at all.
Yeah, it would just show his name and it would show that the camera was off. Maybe you need to if you can figure out how to turn your camera on, Mike. But yeah, I hate we couldn't get it, but at least we tried. Um, so I'm gonna play another song. I just downloaded it while we was live, and it's yeah, it's still not showing. I don't know why it says Mike Wiseman right there beside your picture, but whatever. I hate it. I hate it ain't working. So I just downloaded. I got two new songs I'm actually gonna play. I'm gonna play the new Garden of Shadows, Seventh Day Slumber, and my man Paul McCoy of 12 Stones, the lead singer of 12 Stones. That's pretty cool that see Paul McCoy featured on Seventh Day Slumber. This is the most epic collab that I can think of here lately, anyways. I've heard a lot of good ones, and this is a really good song. This is track number 1, new song, Garden of Shadows, 7-Day Slumber. Let's get it. Wow. So that is Garden of Shadows, 7-Day Slumber, featuring Paul McCoy of 12 Stones and Staringo. Now, I don't know who Staringo is, but I think he's the guy that had the rap verse in the song. That was a really good song.
I'm going to just say this: on Friday, their new album drops.
Oh, okay. So, do you know who Staringo is?
I don't.
Well, he did good on the rap verse. That was impressive. So
that joint was fire.
So what is that? What is that song about, basically?
I don't know. I was getting ice cream halfway through it, to be honest.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I don't. I'd have to. I've played it several times, but I hadn't really caught on. But it's a good message, regardless, because 7-Day Slumber always has good messages. So Garden of Shadows, and yeah, you're correct. They need this Friday, Fractured Paradise, and this is the special edition. That's going to be a re-release of their Fractured Paradise album. It's going to have like 3 or 4 new songs on it.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I will get it on CD. Um, I wish I had my copy right here to show you. In fact, let me show. I'll show you this right here. So this is a cool story. So I've got 3 albums of. I've got every album 12 Stones has ever done on CD.
Oh
Sadly,
yeah.
they didn't do CDs for their last album or two because I think they're like a lot of these artists. They think CDs don't sell, but trust me, CDs sell. And so, anyways, this is their album called Beneath the Scars, and I saw them in 2015 at the Soul Kitchen in Mobile. And it's not exactly the best venue in the world, but it's anybody who's played at the Soul Kitchen. Everybody from Frank Foster to Travis Tritt, you name it, all these artists have played there. A lot of rock artists, and 12 Stones was one of them. So this is a really cool thing what they did here. So I'm gonna show you this cool story. So I got this album, got all the autographs on the album, got it in the mail. Pretty cool. Paul McCoy, Justin Reimer, and Eric Weaver, and I'm trying to think who else was on the band at the time. Yeah, Justin Reimer, Eric Weaver. Let's see, Anthony Moody may have been one of them. Anyways, they all played a part in this, and so that's autographed, which is really cool. You can't get a digital stream autograph now. This is the only time I've ever seen a band do this. But like I said earlier, I nerded out meeting him. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Paul McCoy. And I was telling him and Eric Weaver at the time. I remember telling them, so, man, this is so cool. I've been telling my friends that you guys are a Christian band, and it's pretty cool that y'all, can witness to people about Jesus in this kind of venue. And this is before I found out about them, not being an actual Christian band. But okay, so this looks like the same exact album, same cover, Beneath the Scars. But when you open it up, this is a rare, rare CD. I don't know how many people got these, but this is a Beneath the Scars pre-order, and it comes with six songs. And the song is Bulletproof, Someone Like You, Infected, Worlds Collide, Blind, and Pretty Poison. And it had a download link. And you typed in that special password on that website, on the 12 Stones website, to redeem the album. And what that did was you got 6 songs at the show before the album released. You got the 6 songs, which is on this. But then
Wow.
when you went to the website and typed in the password, you got the rest of the album, which is really cool. I've never seen any band, and I've been to hundreds of concerts. I've never seen any band do that before, but them. And then this is the full album that I got in the mail that was autographed. And so I met Eric Weaver that night. I got him to autograph it too, and Paul autographed this one, the special one. And then this one is the whole band autographed, and the songs are Infected, For the Night, Worlds Collide, That Changes Everything, The One Thing, Blind, I'm With You, Bury Me, Psycho, Only Human, Someone Like You, Shine on Me, and Pretty Poison. So 14 full album. And so I remember doing that. I remember going and typing that link in. And they was like, well, we're going to sing some new songs from our album. It ain't dropped yet, but we're going to go ahead and sing some new songs, and y'all can get part of the songs. To this day, I've never seen any band do that. That's pretty neat. You ever seen a band do something like that?
Maybe Seventh Day Slumber. There
And you know
was
what? That's a good point.
there was one album that they like completely zip filed to their whole fan base.
Oh, so the one that comes to mind for me that's different is it wasn't Fractured Paradise. It was the album before that. Surviving the Wasteland, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that was the name of the album. But when they did the pre-order, I did the pre-order bundle, and I hope I haven't lost it. But the pre-order bundle come with a 7-Day Slumber decal. It came with a CD, and it came with something else and a diaper. and it was a baby's diaper, but it had 7 Day Slumber
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah,
diaper.
yeah, 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 yeah. And it said this album will make you poop your pants.
Yes, that's it.
That
Yes,
was the album with because it came out during COVID.
yes.
Um,
And I've got it over here in my CD shelf somewhere.
that's the album with Man Down on it.
Yes, yes, that's it. Man down, we've got a man down. Man,
Yep.
and if you watch the music video for Man Down, it's a sad video, man. It's about the troops and the soldiers in battle, and the guys getting shot up, and it's like, hey, we got a
Oh,
man down.
trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who's who's the voice in the beginning of Man Down?
Ooh, is that Jeremy Holderfield?
It's not Jeremy, it's Jeremy's wife, Annie.
Oh, okay. I
It's
did not know
just
that.
a dream. Wake up, it's just a dream.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's Annie Holderfield, Jeremy's wife.
Dude, that's sick. I did not know that. That is cool,
Oh,
man.
and I got another for it. Do you know what DC Talk stands for?
Ooh. Um. Let's see. Direct Christian.
Decent Christian Talk.
Wait, what now?
Decent Christian Talk. That's what it
Oh,
stands for.
really cool. Decent
I
Christian
I
talk.
watched a podcast with Toby Mac this week, and that was one of the things that was answered in there, and I was like, "That's a good podcast topic right there."
Wow, that is a good topic.
Yep,
Um,
just like oh, where'd he go? He disappeared. I was gonna say, for anybody watching, um, I was gonna say the other thing that I could say is that the only NBA player to play against the 72 win Jordan's 72 win Bulls and Stephon Curry's 73 win Warriors. There's one
wow.
player, Kevin Garnett.
So I seen a thing the other night. I watched both games last night, and I seen a commercial. They was advertising a TV show that's gonna be coming on CBS called Three versus Three, and Kevin Garnett's gonna be one of the players on that show.
Hmm.
And it's a basketball show where they have basketball competitions, but it's 3 versus 3, and Kevin Garnett's gonna be one of the ones on there. I was like, wow, that's cool.
I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of the there's I think AI got a contract when it first started,
Allen Iverson.
but he didn't last long. But yeah, a lot of the vets will go play three versus three.
Cause see, I've always been a Spurs fan, but then I became a huge Celtics fan when they had Big Baby, Glenn Davis. They had Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce. They had Kevin Garnett. Then they had, let's see, Josh Smith. Maybe no, Josh Smith wasn't with them. He was with the Hawks. And trying to think, Brian Scalabrine. Brian Scalabrine is my all-time one of my favorites. And well, that's weird. It showed we had a guest invite, nothing there. But yeah, and they finally won the championship with Rajon Rondo and Paul Pierce, and man, that was awesome.
Rondo was that when he dislocated his elbow and finished the series. he got a whole nother level of respect from.
Oh, he ate his Wheaties and he was Super Mario and he leveled up.
Mhm. And he is probably that reason. He's probably the reason why uh, LeBron had to go to Miami. Him and well, all four of them. Like that was. That's probably one of the best teams I've ever seen put together.
Of that Celtics, yeah. And see, my all-time favorite player, of course, I love me some Brian Scalabrine. He played with the Celtics. He was a center, and he ended up retiring with the Bulls. He played with the Bulls after the Celtics. But like,
Yep.
I always played with Brian Scalabrine on the NBA video games. I was always playing him, and I would put him as a starter. And if the game would swap him out, I'd swap him back in, and I would get him to shoot all the threes. I'd be like 30 points plus whatever, and he never was the greatest player in the world. But there were times when the Celtics would put him in, he would shine and he would bomb some threes. But he wasn't top 20 caliber. Let's put it that way.
I'll
But
tell you another one. Robert Ory,
oh, he was from Alabama.
Big Shot Bob.
Yeah, Robert Ory. Yeah, he roll tide. And my Spurs had. I love David Robinson. I remember watching this. I became a Spurs fan because of David Robinson. Him and Robert Ory playing on the Spurs. And then my all-time favorite player is Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, that's my dude. And I've only ever been to one NBA game in my life. And um, I remember going to the Orlando Magic game in Orlando. He bought me tickets for the NBA. It was around Christmas time, and the Orlando Magic was playing the Spurs, and I was so excited. I was like, man, I love my Spurs. Big stadium, and this is when Dwight Howard was playing with the Magic when he was starting to get big. And I remember looking, I was like, we were sitting so high up.
Which
I said,
team would it be? Turkaloo? Was Turkaloo on the team?
I
And
don't
Rashard
remember.
Lewis?
That's a good question because I want to say at this point,
Was it the
and
year they went to the finals or no?
I don't remember what year it was. Dang gum, that's gonna drive me crazy. Because I remember looking at Tim Duncan on the court there, and he was shooting. I said, "Man, they look like tiny little ants." We were so high up, them players looked micro. And but then the thing I remember was I had the stomach virus, and that's not fun having a greasy weasel and like having and sitting in a basketball game. I was so sick I couldn't even enjoy the game. But that was cool to see though.
I was excited to see the Bulls. I got Bulls or my buddy. We were going to see the Bulls and Wizards, and
Wow,
this
that's awesome.
this was when they had Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler. So I was like, cool. I'll get to see Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo was on the team too.
Oh yeah.
So we go and Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler got hurt the night before. Um, Dwayne Wade just sat out just because you know that's what players do. And
Uh,
then yeah, Dwayne Wade sat out. Jimmy got sick. And so, like, the only starter that I saw was Rajon Rondo. And so the Bulls, like, Rondo came out. He got him up like 25. And like we're in the Verizon Center, and it's like a Chicago Bulls home court advantage in DC. And then all of a sudden the Wizards went on a run, and John Wall hit a buzzer beater right to beat us and send us home. and I was I was so upset John Wall beat us, man. But it
Man,
was a good game.
and you was a Bulls fan, right?
I was a Bulls fan, but I mean to get to see Rajon Rondo play, I that was cool. But yeah,
I bet that was.
no Zach Levine, no Jimmy Butler, no.
So what year was this?
Mm, this is the year Rondo, Dwayne Wade played in Chicago,
Wow, that's
or did
cool.
he? He might have given us 2 years in Chicago.
D Wade. So I'm gonna play one more song, and I'm gonna give a huge shout out because I promised my best friend, one of my best friends, Matt. Which, by the way, if y'all would keep Christy Sullivan in your prayers, she found some cancer spots on her head. Y'all pray for her and pray for the doctors. And then
Pray
my
for
best
Dave too.
Dave, okay, yeah, pray for Dave. And then, of course, Erica's prayer request for her sister Robin and cousin and family. And then my best friend Josh, pray for him. My buddy Elijah needs prayers. And okay, Mike says, when I got in the wreck, I saw Jesus and my mom, and they came to me and said it was not my time. Whoa, dude, Mike, thank you for sharing that. That's whew, that gives me chills to man. Tell us about that. Man, I wish this would bring Mike up so bad. I want him to tell his story. It maybe you can try the link one more time, and if it don't work, wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So and then my
If it don't work, we'll try to get the app working for next week. We'll
yes,
figure out the app and we'll bring you on next week for the show and you
yes,
can tell your testimony.
and look, I'll see Mike at the racetrack this weekend. I want you to share your testimony on the mic, Mike. Get it? Play on words. Anyways, so and my other prayer request is one of my other best friend Matt. He just started a business, and I told him today that I would shout out his business. So he just started a business called Firm Foundation Land Management, and he was fortunate enough to buy him a skid steer. He bought him a John Deere skid steer. You know what a skid steer is, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So he bought him a John Deere skid steer. It's a 2022 model, super nice, like immaculate condition. And he's gonna do land management, brush clearing, bush hogging, tractor work, you name it, he can do it. And he's fixing to get him some attachments, some more attachments to the skid steer. But he's got one that's got a grapple on it. And I'm gonna flip my camera around, and everybody that's local, and if you're not local, you want to like the page, that's cool. It'll help. It'll help boost his business. But go in and like the page, Firm Foundation Land Management. He's a Christian. Shout out to his wife, Katie Newton Harville. She designed his logo. She helped him with the Facebook. So they just started it like yesterday. And so I'm going to go in here and flip my camera around. I want everybody to see this. All my local peeps. Mike says, when she hate me, they took me up to heaven. It is a beautiful place. Jesus is for real. Wow. So what Mike is saying that when he saw his mom in that wreck, that like she took him up to heaven. It's a beautiful place, and they told him it wasn't his time. Wow, that is. I've never. I don't know. I don't. I've never heard anybody say something like that. That's amazing, Mike. Let me flip my camera around here. Let's see settings, camera facing back, and it might be backwards, but this is the Facebook page. I got my Facebook app pulled up. That's the logo, which is really cool across. on the mountainside. It says Firm Foundation. So it's a Christian business. He's a youth pastor also, and he has a full-time job. But that's the skid steer. Pretty cool looking for all you country folks. You'll know what that is. Coming soon. Stay tuned. Let's see. Let me go in here. There's a video. So he takes that grapple on the front of it and just grabs limbs and stuff and moves it out of the way. Cleans your brush up, and there it is with a bucket to pick dirt up. Cool. So yeah, if anybody's needing, yeah, John Deere 333G, and I don't think he's got his phone number on. Well, yeah, he does have his phone number. So the email is ffl, fflandmanagement@gmail.com, and his phone number is 251-281-4336. And Grove Hill is and you know what? Let me see if they got a website. Oh, he does. Very cool. He's got a website. So let me click this real quick. Holy smokes, what a nice website. I bet you Katie built this for me. Firm Foundation Land Management, LLC. Your land service, there's the phone number. Integrity, grounded in integrity, reliability, and hard work to deliver everlasting results. Hands-on service, owner-operated for personal accountability, consistent quality, and attention to detail. Modern equipment, utilizing all-in-one services, precise results. Wow, services offered, value-based approach, efficient results, clear communication, complete set, owner-operated service, all-in-one service, local expertise, seasonal challenges, modern equipment, transparent pricing, site assessment, experience and care. And I'll just read this one last section here. Firm Foundation Land Management, LLC is a trusted landscaping contractor in Grove Hill, Southwest Alabama. Our values-based approach ensures integrity, reliability, and hard work in every project. As an owner-operated company, provide hands-on service with professional accountability and attention to detail. With modern equipment and efficient techniques, we offer all-in-one land management services, saving you time and money, transparent pricing, our service ensuring your satisfaction. And he's a Christian. It's a super awesome Christian run business. So very cool. Nice website. I build websites, and that I was very impressed by that website. So let me flip this back around, and I gotta see what Mike says. Camera. Mike says, I'm very thankful I'm not hurt and everybody involved in the wreck. Mike says he will tell it on the mic Saturday night. Okay, deal. Wow, that is amazing, Mike. So tell the story, Mike. Like he was driving somewhere and somebody pulled out in front of him and just pile drived him, sideswiped him, and a bunch of cars piled up, and he was one of them. And you know you're in a bad wreck if it totals a F-150 pickup.
Normally, trucks don't have a lot of damage in wrecks. You can get hit and have barely any damage. So, but
Yeah.
it's late, so we'll get that tune spinning and.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and play this last. Okay, so my guest Monday was supposed to be Devin Williams. Well, I was at the Lions Club meeting, and it went a little over, and then I got to talking, and it my fault, Devin Williams. If you end up seeing this, I think he's busy tonight, but if you end up seeing this, I apologize to him. I felt so bad, but I do have Devin Williams coming back on next Monday, and his song "The River" is the song I know him by. Mike says the airbags went off. Wow. And so look up Devin Williams, The Riverside. Yeah, The Riverside. That's the name of it. Watch the video. Phenomenal song. Well, as of last Friday, I think it was last Friday, he dropped his brand new single, and I'm going to play it. It's called Conquer the World. And we just debuted it on Kwake Radio day before yesterday. So shout out to Devin Williams. Super awesome guy. I'm excited to interview him. I've never interviewed him. So let's play this song, Conquer the World. Yeah, Mike. See you later, Mike. Yeah, he said that was a cool song. What you think of that song?
He sounds like Disciple Death.
It does, don't it? And phenomenal song. It just dropped, and he sent it to me before it dropped, and then I was able to get it on the station the other day. So shout out Devin Williams. And next Monday night's when I'll interview him at 7 p.m. Central. And what a great show it was. It worked out how it's supposed to work out, didn't it?
Yep.
Didn't have a lot of viewers tonight, sadly. And oh, yeah, I'm in Facebook jail. So yesterday, I'm on Facebook and I made a post. I think I made a post about my vehicle problems. And well, then not long after that, I got kicked out of Facebook, like logged out of everything. And then it said I need to verify that it was me. I said, man, this is stupid. And so thankfully, I've got a web camera on my computer up here. And I turned my web camera on. I plugged it up, turned it on. And Facebook has this new thing, I guess, where when you're on the Facebook app, you have to verify yourself through pictures. And so with the webcam on, it scanned my face, and I had to put my face, and it'd tell me turn right, then turn left, and show me which way to turn. And I did, and it took my pictures, whatever. I said, man, I just lost everything. I hope not. I was like down in the dumps. And it said, well, we'll get back with you when we reach our decision. And so then this morning I woke up and I got a message saying I was back on Facebook. Thank you, Jesus, because I prayed about that. I know that's kind of silly to pray for something like a social media site, but it was just a big deal to me because I got so many pages I run, plus the ministry page. And I don't know why I got kicked out. I checked my password. My password hadn't been changed. I don't know if somebody's been, it seems like somebody's trying to hack me. So I may have to end up changing my password, but everything seemed fine. And then all those pages that I had that were put in the deactivated list were back in the deactivated list again. I said, my gosh, how'd that happen? And so I went back and reactivated them. And now I can't make a post or comment or reply to anybody until like 9:30 tonight. So that's one reason why when I would post the link in here, it would not post the link to the page because my page is tied to my personal page. So I'm sorry if anybody didn't see the link I was posting all night.
Always something.
Always something. But hey, I appreciate the show. Glad you came on. Good show tonight. Thank you, buddy. And you want to pray us out?
Yep. God, Lord, thank you for Robin. And Lord, we pray for the woman with cancer, uh, Dave with cancer as well. And God, Lord, we just I pray over the requests that I forgot. And Lord, I pray for the people watching that, Lord, you draw them to you for relationship. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. See y'all
Huh?
later. See y'all next Monday and next Wednesday.
Eel.
Yeet.